Hi, everyone. It is Deneen here with my Story 18 in December Daily 2024, where the focus is going to be on this coaster. This is a felt coaster that I bought from Target a few years back, intending to use it, but never using it. And I found it while I was doing some cleaning, and I thought that I would do something with it this year. So this is a piece of craft cardstock. It's about 5.5 inches by 5.5 inches. And then a little bit towards the bottom, I punched a 3.5 inch hole. This coaster is going to fit over that hole. And I'm thinking I'm going to make a pocket. So I have another piece of craft cardstock, also 5.5 by 5.5 inches. I did my journaling on a digital version of one of the Ali Edwards cards. I changed the size of the card as well in Photoshop Elements. And then I have two photos here, one before I started wrapping and one after. And here are pieces of my wrapping paper. So I've seen this done before. I wish I could say who did it. I know it's more than one person. So thank you to whomever has done this before. But I am going to cover this background page, which is just a piece of white cardstock with these three pieces of wrapping paper. Okay, so I decided I'm going to kind of cut it into three. And so we'll start off by dividing the page in half. So I'll measure down at the bottom, mark the halfway point. Going to cover the left half with this Joy wrapping paper and basically just using some rolling adhesive. One thing I did find out while using wrapping paper was you really have to be careful when you're laying it down because it's thin and it's very easily creased or crinkled. So that first piece went down really, really well. And this second piece did also. So this is just the second um, piece of wrapping paper. I'm filling the remainder of the page. So one half is one paper, one half is the other. Just trimming off the edges here. And then I get creative with this polka dot wrapping paper. And I decide I'm going to make a triangle, which is fine. Um, but I didn't really put it down the right way. So all I basically did here was trim down this wrapping paper to the size of my page, which is 8.25 by 11. And then I am going to go ahead and I'm going to mark the middle there and turn it over, mark the back side. I'm going to do some pencil marks. So again, it's wrapping paper, so my pencil marks weren't really working very well because it's kind of waxy, I guess. And so it turned out fine, but I recommend using like maybe a pen or something because I'm doing it on the back side, so it's not going to show through. So there I am marking the other side because I want to mark the middle, and then I want to use my ruler to draw the triangle. Okay, originally I was going to cut it out with my paper trimmer, but then I thought, I think a craft knife would probably be better. So metal ruler, craft knife, glass mat, cut it down. Even after all of that messing around, I still ended up not getting it perfect, but I'm not really worried because that craft piece is going to go over where all of these three pieces meet, okay? Because it didn't quite meet in the middle. So let's punch some holes, and this is how I am going to cover that up. So here is my coaster. Going to use a little rolling adhesive. I am going to put that around the outside and then put the coaster on there basically temporarily because now I'm going to go around the outside of the coaster and you'll see I'm just poking holes, not measuring, just eyeballing and poking because I'm going to run some embroidery floss through here and I'm going to stitch this to the craft cardstock. So go around the outside, threading my needle with my red embroidery floss, and I am just going to start from the back. I will pull it through and then I will use a piece of Scotch tape to tape down that tail end there. And then basically it's just up and down and in and out, right? Just going all around the whole outside of the circle. Again, not measuring. Are my stitches all exactly the same length? Probably not. Is anyone going to notice that? Probably not. Just again, just fun. This is just fun to stitch and to create something a little bit more crafty, right? Just being crafty. It reminds me of the tree that I did earlier in December that Allie did in the prep class, where she used the embroidery floss to go across the cutout of the tree. That was just fun, right? So we have the opportunity to be crafty and to just kind of experiment with things and see how they turn out. And I think most of us probably do not do this kind of stuff all year round. I know that for me, there's like some residual December daily for like the month of January and maybe even into February, right? Because most of the time I'm working on December daily in January. And then February comes along, and I know that a lot of my projects will be a little more crafty and they will be a little bit more interactive. And then eventually I start getting back into the, storytelling with paper and photos. And this is just fun. So sure, I can do it all year round, but just like with anything else, too much of a good thing is not a good thing. So enjoying it while I can. So here I am finishing off. You'll see I am going to get to the end. And when I do, I'm just going to pull it through. You don't want to pull this too tight when you're doing something like this, because you want to make sure that you're not buckling the paper. But you don't want to be too loose either. So you just kind of little bit of tension as you're pulling this through in and out. If you don't have a coaster like this, you could totally cut a circle out of felt. Absolutely 100%. This is something you can do with just a regular piece of felt from the Hobby Lobby. Okay, so that's the intention right there. And those are my photos and my journaling, and I want them to fit inside of that as a pocket. So that's where I'm going with this. Punch a little hole at the top, or not a hole, punch a partial circle. I did some zigzag sewing along where the papers meet. So that was fun. I had white in my sewing machine, not sure how visible that's going to be. But again, it is what it is. And then measuring here, because I know that these cards are going to stick out of the pocket and I want it to be visually pleasing. So I know I need to give myself more space at the top than at the bottom. All right. So that's how that's going to work. And then I went ahead and I did not put a back on it. I was going to, but I just did some sewing around the outside, sewed it directly to that background page. I don't think I needed to have that background for the tree, and everything just slides in there super nice. So this is how the journaling is going to slide in, and you're going to see the words. You're going to see the words through the tree, which is super fun. Then I pulled out my December Daily Alpha stamps because they're like my favorite. And across the top of that journaling, I am going to stamp wrapping. So I went ahead and counted the letters in wrapping, and I'm starting from the middle. So I marked the center, and it's 8 letters. So I know that 4 are going to be on one side of the center and 4 are going to be on the other side. I was a little bit off here, but again, that's the nature of creating things, right? Nothing is ever going to be perfect. And I don't even think we should try. I think we should just kind of go with it. Here's where the W is just a little bit too close to the edge. Again, not a big deal. And then I go ahead and I think, all right, what do I want to do here? I think I might want to put some ribbon on these. So let's put these two back to back. These are the photos, just adhering them back to back. And I am going to use this tool, a punching tool, in order to make a slit, not a circle, but a slit in the top of both of these. It is getting pretty dull. It's probably about 20 years old. It actually worked better on the photos than it did on the paper, which was kind of strange. And so I pulled out some of my thicker ribbon here. I really wanted to use that green, but I don't know. It seemed too bright, and I don't know. I just felt like going with the black and the white on one, and then the red and the white on the other. And I really like how it turned out. I think it looks cute. So we'll cut those up, and they're going to stick out of the top, and that's fine. That's the fun of it, right? That is the fun of it. Now, here's something I want to point out to you. I went ahead and I wanted to stamp the word wrap. I just felt like it. And I don't know where the idea came from, and I don't know what possessed me, but as I was putting this together and after it was all done, I just felt like I needed to add something more on that craft. And I actually thought about this ahead of time, but then forgot to do it. And then after I stitched everything together, I was like, it's not possible now, but it is. I just went ahead and used some post-it notes and covered up the felt circle. And I just typed wrap, asterisk, and I just kept going all the way across. So, yeah, it is possible to go back and change things. Another thing you're going to notice is that I added a Tim Holtz Metal 18 to the top of the tree with one of his loop pins. And yeah, that's about all that's it. No more embellishments other than that. Here's what the two cards look like, and then the other side is right there. So again, you can change things, right? Yeah, I think that if you get to the point where you're not happy with the way something turned out, you can definitely spice it up or change it. And I am just super happy that I was able to do that stamping, because stamping to me is just so fun and therapeutic. And I really do look for any excuse to kind of add it into most of my pages if I can. Alrighty, guys. Thank you so much once again for following along with me. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below. And yeah, we're moving along, guys. Next up is story number 19, right? Getting towards the end. Okay, and I do hope that I will see you again very soon.